Tariffs are on a lot of folks' minds right now, none more so than the penguins of the Heard and McDonald Islands in the Southern Ocean. A few months ago, the US proposed tariffs on these remote, uninhabited volcanic Australian islands that are thousands of miles from the mainland continent. Now, I'm not here to comment on the tariffs, I'm not a political expert, I'm not an economist, but I do know volcanoes, and these are volcanic islands, so let's learn a bit more about them. The Heard and McDonald Islands are an overseas territory of Australia, and this small group of volcanic islands are some of the most remote islands on Earth. In fact, I'm going to do some more videos about remote islands. The volcanic islands themselves are the result of hotspot volcanism, so think the islands of Hawaii, Canary Islands, Cape Verde Islands. But unlike the islands of Hawaii, there's not a chain of volcanoes. The Antarctic plate hasn't really moved a lot over recent geological history, so instead of a long chain of islands, instead the hotspot has just built up in one place over time. So there is a large oceanic plateau, and the Heard and McDonald Islands are where the hotspot is currently set. Heard Island is the biggest of the islands, dominated by the volcanic mountain of Big Ben, and with the peak of that currently Mawson Peak. Mawson Peak is about 9,000 feet high, so over 2,700 metres, and actually these islands are the only active volcanism in all of Australia and its territories. Australia has had volcanic activity even on its mainland, but that is further back in time. Because these islands are so remote, it is difficult to monitor the volcanoes there, particularly by land, so there have been research expeditions there, more so in recent years, but most of the monitoring is actually conducted by satellite, so using satellite imagery to detect changes in the islands or maybe thermal anomalies. That's mostly what we've seen over the years, are thermal anomalies at Mawson Peak, indicating a lava lake or heat signatures at the top of the volcano. As well as the activity up at Mawson Peak on Big Ben, which makes up the larger of the Heard Island, there is volcanic activity further west on the McDonald's Islands. These are much smaller, but there was volcanic activity in 2005 and plumes observed in the 90s. Like I said, these islands are difficult to monitor because of how far away they are, but satellite technology and instruments on the ground can help us keep a close eye on the volcanic situation. Now, there isn't a population there, so it's not really considered a hazardous or a risky volcano, but it's also good to know about this volcanic activity, and there are populations of penguins that do live on these islands, so I guess it's good for us to know for their sake as well.